Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Warrior Report here on HBC TV 25. We're brought to you by Cost Cutters of Winona. I'm Justin Barrientos. Thank you for joining us here today. And we'll start off this week by talking track and field with Evan Perkins. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
Now, you're the kind of jumps coach at Winona State, but let's go back a little bit because you were an athlete in college and actually a Hall of Famer, or I guess Wall of Famer, depending on how you talk about it at UWL. Can you tell us a little bit about your college career?
I did my undergrad at UW La Crosse and was a member of the track and field team. My specialty event was triple jump. I did some other events, 1600-meter relay, some hurdles. It was kind of the starting of the dynasty, so to speak, as far as men's track and field. My sophomore and junior year, we finished as a team. We were second at nationals, and then senior year, we finally won the national title. Myself, I had some opportunities at the national level. Junior and senior year was the NCAA Division III national champ in the triple jump, and from there went on to grad school there, and then started my collegiate coaching career at the University of Wisconsin-Oshkosh. Spent 7 years there, great experience. Then we looked at doing some things family-wise and ended up actually doing and taking a teaching job up in northern Wisconsin, my hometown. Was there for 15 years, and then 8 years ago, the coaching job here at Winona State was open, applied, and happy to be here. Great place.
All right. What initially got you into coaching, and when did you decide, hey, I want to stick around the sport, I want to teach other people what I know and get into coaching?
Yeah, initially when I went to college for my undergrad, I was looking at athletic training, and it's kind of bouncing it back and forth. And it was partly because it wasn't on my radar as far as maybe coaching collegiately. And then as I got further, more towards my junior year than senior year, talking with our coaches at the university there, they're saying, as far as opportunities and potentially going to grad school and things could happen. And it was one of those things that just the love and passion for the sport. I was someone that gained a lot of experience and growth through athletics, and because of that, those things I learned to value, and it was something that I'd like to kind of continue on and be able to share with other people to see them do exciting things.
All right, so you mentioned that prior to coming here, you were in a teaching position. Was track and field involved in that as well?
Yep. I was teaching physical education health and the track coach up at Marinette High School. My wife, Linda, who is an instructor at Winona State University, currently in the physical education department, she was teaching and coaching in the school district too. She was the cross-country coach. So it was kind of, the Perkins household was kind of chaotic when it came to running and athletics and things at different times of the year, but it made things exciting.
All right, and before we get to your Winona State part, you mentioned off camera you're a Packer fan, and I weave that in because you were able to coach a Packer while he was at UWL.
Yeah, Bill Schrader, notable UW La Crosse grad. The interesting story about him is during the recruiting process, he was someone that I had watched him compete in high school, visited him at the school, and contacted. And coming out of high school, he wanted to go and right away play football and do track at UW La Crosse. And the story, kind of long story short, is he wanted to play quarterback, and they were saturated as far as at that position, and then didn't go out for football. Competed in track for 4 years, and then because he changed his major, he was kind of on the 5-year plan academically. So that 5th year, he decided to go for football. Played 1 year, and then was drafted by the Green Bay Packers, and then spent 11 years in the NFL. So it's kind of an exciting story.
Very good. And did you get to visit him while he was on the team?
Yeah, quite a bit. Actually, he's still in the Green Bay area. His wife, Shelley, is a physical therapist at Bellin Sports Medicine. Bill does some training at a facility with youth athletes. And typically, if I'm heading over there on a recruiting trip, we'll connect and do lunch, or I'll stop by the facility and just kind of see how he's doing. But yeah, it's exciting to stay connected with him.
All right, very good. So then you get here to Winona State. You've been here 8 years. Let's talk a little bit about this year's team. You mentioned that you kind of handle the jumps. Mason kind of spreads it out between the three coaches as to who coaches who. Tell us a little bit about this year's squad.
Well, last year we had a lot of success. It was the biggest group that we have ever advanced and taken to the NSTAT Indoor Championships. And we had a couple relays and some open event people. Some of the people that were on relays had graduated, but we have a really strong core group coming back. And then we have the addition of some young, talented freshmen, so it kind of keeps things exciting. In a few minutes, you'll be talking to one of our older veterans, Christy Springer, who's done some amazing things while she's been with us at Winona State. But I think that balance is kind of exciting because she's one that as a freshman, she came in and there was some older athletes, one of them, Tamika Tucker, who ended up being an All-American for us in the long jump. And Tamika's graduated and gone on to graduate school. And now it's kind of Christy's turn to kind of lead the crew. And this time of year it's early, so it's always kind of interesting. And sometimes you can smile and sometimes you scratch your head. But the nice thing is they're putting in a lot of quality work. And because of that, I'm happy to think that down the road they're going to have some success and do some exciting things. So.
All right, we have about 2 minutes left in this segment.
Yep.
Last week we talked with Coach Rabarczyk about your first meet. From your perspective, how did the first meet go this season?
I think it went pretty well. The toughest thing with that first meet in December is, one, we have 11, 12 weeks of training in the fall leading up to it. So physically, there's a lot of things that we're able to do and kind of work on. For a high schooler, coming out of high school, and if they're a freshman, the toughest part of that is that's a long time for them to practice before they meet. The difficulty of that and the timing of it on the schedule is it falls right into when we have final exams at the end of the semester. So physically, people might be ready to go, but mentally they might be focusing on, I'm a student, then athlete, and trying to finish things, what they need to do as far as the classwork. So that one we don't put a lot of emphasis on, but now we've been back a week, and this is week 2, kind of in the normal indoor kind of progression, and head to University of Wisconsin Superior this weekend, and we're excited to see what we can do over the next couple weeks.
All right, well, we definitely wish you luck for that, and
Thank you.
Thanks for the information here.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a break here on the Warrior Report. When we come back, as you said, we'll talk with Christy Springer right after this.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Perfect. Getting the right look at the right price
Perfect.
is always in style. At Cost Cutters.
Located in the professional building in the Winona Mall, 507-454-60.
And welcome back to the Warrior Report. We're brought to you by Cost Cutters of Winona, and now joined by Christy Springer. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
All right, let's kind of go back a little bit to your high school days first. Before you got here to Winona State, you were a multiple sport athlete, successful in volleyball, basketball, and track and field. Thinking back, are there any highlights that spring to your mind first from high school?
Yeah, volleyball first. Made it to the state tournament twice during my high school career. My junior year we made it, and then my freshman year we also made it. So that was a big highlight. And then track, making it to the state tournament 3 years, I believe, and doing long and triple jump there and placing, and so that was also a highlight.
Okay, and then how did you decide that track and field was the sport that you wanted to pursue in college?
I love the sport, first off, and then just loved jumping, and it was the place where I got offers, so Winona State had offered me, so I decided to take that, and here we are.
All right. Now, had you heard of Winona State before that? Did you have any idea about the school? What was the kind of the tipping point to come here?
It's close to home. When I visit here, I love the campus. I love how it's all close together. And a lot of people from my high school actually come here, so it's a well-known university, and yeah, I love it here.
Okay. You kind of talked to Coach Perkins about Christy a little bit in the last segment, but what were some of the reasons why you wanted to bring her here to Winona State?
Well, just through the recruiting process, we spent a lot of time identifying people, watching them compete. Christy was an easy one because she was in so many sports, so I had multiple opportunities to go up there. She's a member of an athletic family, and they've had a lot of success, which is exciting. But for me, it's not just finding talented athletic people, it's finding good people and people that you know that will fit well and work and do those types of things. And again, throughout that process, it was something for us, we were very excited with the opportunity to get Christy at Winona State.
All right. Did you ever think about doing more than one sport in college, or was it just, okay, track and field is what I want to do?
I did. In high school, we have a volleyball camp, and the head coach for the volleyball team was like, if you ever want to come play volleyball at Winona, just let me know and we'll talk. So I did think about doing volleyball, but with doing 2 sports in school, I just thought sticking to one sport would be enough.
Okay. As Coach Perkins said, now is kind of your time to shine. What is your reaction to hearing that, and what's your outlook for this season?
It's nice to hear that because, my first 2 years were just me getting to know and learning more technical stuff for jumps. But looking forward to this season, I'm hoping to qualify for nationals again and just hit some more PRs.
Okay. So what was that experience like then last year?
Going to nationals?
Yeah.
It was amazing. It's a little different from like a regular college. Like you have the elevated runway, so that's a little different. But it's nice now that I've been there to now I know what to expect, and hopefully I can improve upon last year.
Okay. And how did the first meet of the season go for you, and what are you kind of working on for this next meet coming up?
It went well. I was more focused on my runway and making sure I can hit the board. Next meet, I'm hoping to do the same thing and maybe PR from my last meet.
All right. Talk about that, about making sure that you hit the board, because I know that like in the Olympics you watch that and you feel so bad for someone if they fault, because you think all the work that you put in and then just that mistake is enough to wipe out everything. Tell us that kind of mindset, getting ready for that.
Making sure I'm consistent on the runway, that's a big component of making sure you hit the board, make sure you start the same, bring speed when you're running down the board every time, and just making sure that you're always hitting your mark.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us here today, and good luck in your meet coming up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a break here on Warrior Report. When we come back, we'll talk women's gymnastics. That's right after this.
Perfect.
Perfect. Perfect.
Getting the right look at the right price
Perfect.
is always in style at Cost Cutters.
Located in the professional building in the Winona Mall, 507-454-6030.
And welcome back to the Warrior Report here on HBC TV 25. We're brought to you by Cost Cutters of Winona. We'll switch gears to talk gymnastics now. Head coach Becky Rolbecki, thanks for coming back here.
Thanks.
Let's talk a little bit about the meet that you had last week against Gustavus. I guess all around, tell us how the meet went in your eyes.
Well, obviously it wasn't what we thought it was going to be. You know, our inner squad, we scored a 180.5, and then to drop 2 points at this meet was pretty disappointing. I felt like there were some highs in the meet, some good things that happened. I felt the team was unified and supportive, but they didn't bring their pride and their belief in themselves onto the bus. I'm not sure how the transition from the gym to getting on the bus to going to Gustavus, how their mentality transferred to what it was. I just don't believe they had the faith in themselves that they should have had. They didn't trust their training, And so we didn't perform nearly to the level of our capabilities.
So the coach speak in that is usually, we didn't come to play today. And so that's kind of what you thought it was
Right.
then.
Very disappointing to have it happen. I really truly expected that we should go 180 to 182, somewhere in there. Based on whatever the other teams were in our conference that weekend scoring, we would have been right in the hunt. So now we have to carry that bad taste in our mouth till next Tuesday, and then we get a chance to redeem ourselves, which I truly believe we will. And I believe the strength of this team has always been that when they fail, and then we talk about it, not so tenderly sometimes, but when we review what happened and what should happen, what our expectations were and what we didn't bring to the table, it's a good clarifying moment for a team, and I think they're repurposed and redriven, and practice yesterday showed me that they really thought about what we talked about the day after the meet, and I think that their resolve and their determination to prove who they are and to come back from the next meet being very prideful of their performance is going to really show.
Okay, so you said that the bus ride over was a problem, and then I think you said you had an injury in warm-ups that maybe rattled the team as well?
Right. Anna Hiller was supposed to do all-around for the first time, and in warm-ups, the matting at vault was a little hard, so she came in and off a flip and pinched, and so that took her out with an ankle injury. And then right after that, Kate West was doing a vault, hit the same mat, and ended up with an ankle injury. So obviously we pulled that mat out and said nobody's using this, but when your lineup is pulled and in different directions with 6 different positions being moved around, then obviously that should be okay, because the next kids in should be able to cover that, but it did rattle the team. It was like, well, what we're here, no, we've already lost 2 players and we haven't even started, so that should have been something they should have been able to overcome, but it did kind of take some of the steam out of our engine during warm-ups.
Okay, you did have some first places in the apparatus. Kelly Johnston, who's here today, did a good job on beam. Tell us a little bit about that.
The nice thing about Kelly is she has a higher level beam routine, which we started last season. And last season she thought it was a challenge. In fact, she thought I was a little crazy when we talked about doing a 3 series. But I wanted to challenge her. I wanted her to grow as an athlete. We've been doing the same routine for a couple of years. Let's make it more difficult. So she's one of the few kids in the conference that does a 3 series, a 3 acro series. And she just nailed it at the meet. She did a 9.6 at the exhibition meet, and then she got a 9.6 at Gustavus, and it's a rock solid routine. It looks great, and the top 3 beam kids actually, nailed their routines. And so I thought, well, here we go. We're going to finish this up, and we'll end up with a good day. And then the last 3 beam kids just pretty much self-destructed. So we never have 2 fall routines, and we had 3 in a row. So Kelly's important because she's the kid that they believe in, they trust, they're confident that she's going to hit. She's very focused and very calm in her demeanor, and so she helps the beam squad, calm themselves, get focused, and get ready to do well. Whatever reason why it didn't take place this last meet is quite beyond me and the 3 kids that didn't do well. I think they got taken aback, like what on earth happened. But they're good kids, and they're going to work hard, and I think they'll refocus. But having a 9.6 beam routine to build your base from is fabulous, especially early in this season.
Okay, and then moving on in vault, Kennedy Utz tied for first place. So obviously that was a bright spot as well.
Right, and her vault this year is so explosive. She gets such height and pop off the vault table. So she went 9.5 the first meet. This one wasn't quite as strong, but it was still fabulous. She just has a really good, she does half onto a front, and it's gorgeous. So that's a great thing to build from too. So, taking our 2 senior captains and having them capable of bringing in big scores right off the bat is really wonderful to see.
Okay, and then on floor, you had a top performer as well? Was that Shalisa Zaire was on floor?
Shelly had the best floor routine she's done in her life.
And I apologize if I got that name wrong. I probably messed it
Well,
up.
we call her
a little
Shell.
bit.
So, but anyhow, she just did fabulous. It's a hard floor. It's a really tight floor, so it's hard to perform on that. But she just went out there and hit all her passes better than I've ever seen her do it, and her dance was beautiful. And we were just like wow, where'd that come from? So to see that score 9.5 from one judge is really nice too. So that's something we've struggled to get in the 9.5s and 6s in the floor routines, and part of it is because, you know, we get going and worry about the tumbling passes, and then they get out of focus. So we're working really hard this year to make sure the whole presentation is clean, and so that's a great gift to have as well.
All right, and so now what do you do between now and next Tuesday to get ready for your next meet?
We've decided between us all that, you know, we just have to have things that are more challenging competitive-wise, so if there's more pressure sets or whatever, so that they can kind of learn to adapt to that mentality. I didn't feel we needed that based on our performance early on, but apparently it's something that they need and want. So we're doing you have to stick, she has to stick kind of thing, so that they have to play with a teammate and or team things that the whole team has to do as a whole, so that everybody has to be accountable. And so we're doing extra reps of the things that we didn't do well, tumbling uphill so our tumbling passes are cleaner. We're trying to push the lower performing kids. I don't mean to say that they're not capable, but the ones that haven't been in the lineup, we're trying to get them to move forward so that if we do have an injury, we can put them in with the quality routine. So all in all, the effort yesterday at practice was fabulous. I mean, people took the assignment, which was very challenging. There wasn't a complaint out of them. They were cheering each other on and pushing each other through it. So I know that they're ready to do what they're capable of doing. I know that they want to be who they know they can be. So we'll see it. We'll see it this week or next week on Tuesday and Friday. I think a different team will show up.
All right, very good. We're going to take a break here on Warrior Report. Kelly Johnston will join us right after this.
This is one of my last chances to do this. I'm going to go ahead and work this year myself. I know there's gold where I'm digging, so that's where I'm going to go. Let's go! Yeah! Get out of here! Oh, watch out! Rock! Dustin!
Gold Rush Whitewater premieres Friday, November 8th at 10 on Discovery.
And welcome back to the Warrior Report here on HBC TV 25. We're brought to you by Cost Cutters of Winona. Kelly Johnston joins us. Thanks for being here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, let's talk a little bit first about the fact that you're one of the co-captains on the team. How did you find out about that, and what does that mean to you to be a captain on the team?
It's like a huge honor to be a captain of this team, especially with such a large team. I mean, this year it's a little bit smaller, but in past years we have had a bigger team, so to be chosen as a captain is a real honor. This is my second year as a captain, so I do feel a lot more comfortable and confident in being that and being a leader for the team. I just try my best to be there for my teammates in any way I can and help out Coach in any way I can do.
Well, you heard what Coach had to say about you just a couple minutes ago. What did that feel like to hear that?
It's really, really nice to hear. I mean, what she thinks means a lot to me as well. And just, again, doing anything that I really can for the success of the team is what's most important and what's always in my mind at practice. So to be able to hit a solid beam routine is really important to me and to the team, and I'm really grateful that she thinks so too.
All right, let's go back to your high school days for a minute. And you were a state champion on balance beam in 2015 in Illinois. Tell us a little bit about that and what that was like.
Yeah, I did high school gymnastics all 4 years, which is actually a little bit different. A lot of college gymnasts don't do high school gymnastics just because it's not as competitive. But in Illinois, it can actually get pretty competitive. And my junior year, I did make it all the way to state finals and competed on the balance beam and ended up winning. And that's kind of when I realized that beam was sort of my thing. And I really enjoyed it, and it was something I'll always remember.
All right. How did Winona State come into the picture then? What were some of the schools maybe you were looking at, and what stood out from Winona State?
So college gymnastics has kind of always been in the back of my mind. I always wanted to do it as a kid, and so I actually had 2 older teammates that went to the same gym as me when I was growing up, and they went to Winona State and competed in gymnastics there. So I sort of found it because of them and visited and met Becky and the team and automatically right away knew that this was the school I was going to.
All right. So in the recruiting process, what do you remember about Kelly and why did you want to bring her here to Winona State?
just because I felt that she was going to be a very gifted kid, and I loved her personality. I thought she was going to be really fun to work with, and she's proven that to be true. I just knew she was very talented, and her dance presentation is something that's exceptionally beautiful, the way she carries herself. So if you could grab a kid like that that has a solid background, it's something that we want for sure. But mostly I just felt a real good warmth about her that I really wanted to just embrace her and bring her into the fold and say, hey, let's go play. So.
All right, now a lot of this is a good learning experience for everybody trying to understand gymnastics. If we're just kind of, like me, watch every time the Olympics are on and then kind of forget about gymnastics the rest of the time. Coach was talking about your beam routine, and it's a 3 acro routine. Can you explain what that is and how difficult that is?
Yes, so most beam routines will have just a 2 acro series, so you're doing 2 flipping skills normally in a row without breaking connection. I actually do 3 skills in a row, which takes up the entire length of the beam, and you're just continuously going, and a lot can go wrong when there's 3 skills compared to 2, so it's definitely a bit more difficult, and it gives you a little bit more bonus in your scoring, which really makes it worth it to do.
And how long did it take you to get it the first time?
One day, Becky kind of just said, I think you can do this, and I probably got it within that week or so and put it on the floor. So.
All right, well, as Coach said, she thought maybe it was a little crazy. What were your first thoughts when you heard about that?
I definitely thought it was a little bit crazy. I wasn't really expecting to change my routine, but my coach was definitely right. I mean, my routine was getting way too easy for me, and I needed something that would make me stand out. And by the end of it, even my parents were like, you better thank Becky because she had the best idea for you this season. And so I'm very grateful that she pushed me to do it.
All right. Anything you need to work on for this meet that's coming up?
I definitely just want to work a little bit more on extending myself on beam, so just lifting taller, and Becky wants me to think I'm 5'5" on the beam, and I'm really 5 feet tall. So that's something I always want to work on in the meet, and then just getting a little bit more consistent each and every meet.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us, and good luck this week.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for joining us here on Warrior Report. We'll see you next time here on HBC TV 25.
Now we finna show y'all what we made of. You really think you ready? Rebel battle test to check the resume. Was taught to act first and never hesitate. I'm also at my best when the pressure's great. Hit opposition like a train, watch them levitate. You standing face to face with a destroyer. You think you ready for the smoke?
Perfect. Perfect.
Getting the right look at the right price
Perfect.
is always in style at Cost Cutters.
Located in the professional building in the Winona Mall, 507-454-6030.
Maybe we should have a dance-off. Well, let's try that again.
Nailed it!
Bitch and Rides, new episode Wednesday at 9 on Motor Trend. Or start your free trial of the Motor Trend app to stream every episode commercial-free.
This February,
are you ready for this?
Comes the greatest competition ever built.
Welcome to Lego Masters.
10 teams.
Yeah!
Millions of bricks. And the chance to become...
We're gonna be Lego Masters!
You've been chosen because you're the best of the best. And I've been chosen because... I'm Batman.
Lego Masters, a new competition series, premieres Wednesday, February 5th after The Masked Singer on Fox.